Tanya, I would like to ask you a question. What would you do if you listing the business as an asset? Very clear, but the buyer keep asking you profit and loss.
So you're listing it as just assets in place,
That's
um,
correct.
but
Just only
not
the
an
equipment.
operating business, just a
No.
straight asset sale.
Yes, that's even the business still operate, but the owner, he doesn't want to share the profit and loss. As he said, this transaction only related to equipment, own the equipment in his business. So
Yeah.
what would you do?
I would just put that I would make that very clear in both the ad that
Yes,
the
I
seller
did.
will not provide financials, and also any kind of SIM or CVR that you're providing after they sign an NDA, seller will not provide no financials will be provided, just equipment, this is equipment, asset sale only. And that's all you can do.
Yeah, but I don't understand why they keep asking, even in the business summary. And like you said in the ad, we put it very clear. The seller will not provide profit and loss. But the buyer, they don't care. They keep asking.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one. If you've made it clear already, then I mean, do you have like a contract on this now?
Oh, yes.
Is it so it's in escrow or whatever?
Oh, not yet. The buyer, he really like it and he would like to make an offer, but he keep insisting give him, and I told him why, because we already told you in the beginning, and his response is just to evaluate, and I don't understand. Evaluate what? This is not the
Yeah.
regular, just asset sale.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do is, if that's what the seller has said and that's what you've advertised and that's what you're promoting, then, then that's what you tell the buyer. You just say, sorry, as stated previously, financials will not be provided. So you can make an offer based on the equipment value, the asset value, or, you know, don't make an offer. I mean, but there's no financials that are going to be provided, period. So,
Thank you. Yeah. So thank
Wait,
you.
question on her deal. She's selling an asset. Can it sounds like the potential buyer is wanting to buy the assets and then restart the business. Would that be legal? If it's
well,
closed, like,
it's not closed. The business is still in operation, right,
right.
Diane?
Yes, that's correct. The business still open. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, so there's two different types of asset sales. So sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. Most businesses in the United States are sold under an asset purchase agreement, which means you're buying the assets of the business, not the liabilities. But there's also, if it's an operating business, there's also a component which usually contains most of the value of the allocation, and that's called goodwill. And so when you have an operating business, you're going to have your asset, your hard assets, right? Tangible assets, and then you're going to have a component called goodwill. And the combination of that generally makes up your business value. So that's one form of an asset sale because it actually, you're just using an asset purchase agreement, and that's the majority of businesses are sold that way. However, there's also this other asset sale, which means there's no goodwill. It's just the tangible assets. So when you're talking about a tangible asset sale, you're looking at, like for example, in a restaurant, you would have some, pots and pans and whatever. You would have tables, dining room tables, chairs. Um, you have to be careful. Sometimes people think about the back in the kitchen, they think about the hood and the walk-in refrigerator and freezer and all those. Well, those are fixtures. Those are not something that can be sold now to somebody else because they're attached to the real estate. So now technically the landlord owns them. But nonetheless, with all those assets in place, if you have a restaurant, even if the restaurant has been closed, if it's got that walk-in refrigerator, freezer, all those in the hood, all of those things in place already, then oftentimes somebody can get you know, 30, 40, $50,000, sometimes even more, for that type of an asset sale. But there's no goodwill. That's strictly tangible assets. So, Paul, to your question though, can somebody buy tangible assets and continue operating the business? Yeah, sure. There's nothing wrong with that.
They would
The
just
seller
add,
in her case is just not going to get value for goodwill because he's not willing to show. He's not willing to show any books and records. So there's no allocation. There's nothing you can really allocate to goodwill.
so Diane, you're just selling equipment basically, right?
That's correct. Yes, the lease. Oh, with the lease too, because the lease is still valid. The lease,
Right.
the look, yeah, the
What's
look.
what's the asking price?
210, 210. Yeah,
That's a
because
lot.
yes, because a lot of equipment in the restaurant. Yes.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, and that's why the buyer keeps insisting they want to see the P&Ls.
So the equipment's worth 210,000?
Yes, it's new. Everything new. Yeah.
Wow.
But is it of the amount, Tanya? If it's less than 100,000, the buyer might not ask. Don't you think so? If it's 75,000,
You know, I mean, I think the buyer needs to just make an offer based on what his value is of the equipment and go from there.
yeah, okay, I got it.
Because he's trying to factor in and trying to a goodwill component, which normally you would have, and that's why he keeps asking for the financials.
But the seller has the right not show, right? He has the right. He doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, a seller can do anything they want. They certainly have the right not to show their financials. But again, it goes back to, are they expecting somebody to pay cash? Are they willing to finance? You know, and at the price point that you have, I mean, I think that's kind of a hard sale to do without showing any books and records. You can get up to up around 200,000, you know. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the equipment list, but even if all the equipment is new, the used value of all that equipment is, you know, even if they bought it yesterday, you can only value it at like 50%. And how much of it is fixtures that really is no longer owned by the
Right.
seller anymore, because now it's really part of the real estate. So there's just a lot of factors in there. But I think, you know, certainly at that price point, that's why you're having the difficulty that you're having with this particular buyer, because he's wanting to make sure that there's some cash flow there that he's going to be able to continue operating. So
Well, generally, if they're not willing to disclose any financials, it normally means that he's running things through the business that he doesn't want to declare, or he's not reporting sales,
Yeah.
so he doesn't have to pay tax on it. So it's suspect, I would guess.
yeah,
Especially in the restaurant and bar business, there's a lot of money that flows through that isn't necessarily reported. So
right.
that's an
A lot of
indication
cash.
there you've got an exposure.
But to me, it seems like he would want to provide something to help sell his business. You know?
Yeah, but once you open up the can of worms, he could expose himself to, oh, wait a minute, he hasn't been reporting appropriately on his revenues. Because especially a bar, there's a lot of cash going through. It's really easy to hide a bunch of money.
True.
Yeah.